Okay. What's up? What's up, beautiful people? This is your host, Matthew, live on YouTube, episode number 65, coming to you. Got another good one for you. So, as always, beautiful people, I thank you for subscribing. I thank you for watching. I thank you for those that share. I thank those that comment. And I just ask to continue to do what you're doing, continue to support us. And just continue to like, subscribe, and comment if you can. And again, don't forget to check us out. Check us out on Spotify on Wednesdays. We actually repost again on Wednesdays, probably around 5 in the evening. So if you can, if you're able to tune in, then please do. Like I said, keep sharing. So we got a good one for you today. And as everybody can probably see, uh, once again, Marcus is not here. So he is actually in beautiful Nevada, Las Vegas, enjoying Super Bowl 58, the festivities anyway, with his lovely young lady. So we're going to miss him again. He will be back if he's not on vacation again next week. So I'm going to try to hold it down, or I will hold it down this week. And we have a guest coming in March, and we'll continue to have some more guests. But for the next couple of episodes, it's just going to be like old times with Mark and myself. So, hopefully everyone enjoy it. So I have a good topic for you guys today. There's something that's close to near and dear to my heart. And I just feel as though it's something that everybody should consider. I'm not trying to impose my beliefs on anyone. And it's something that whether we believe it or not, we actually do follow these laws. Some is unknown and we're not realizing it, but we actually do follow these laws. And I'm pretty sure somebody might have pushback like, man, here we go. Laws. Some people don't like laws. Some people don't like rules. So I think that kind of get pushed back just because, the title of laws or rules or however you want to, label it. But the laws of the universe is exactly what that is. It's laws of the universe. Now, it's pretty much like anything else. I'm pretty sure somebody's probably saying, well, it's probably man-made. That's something that somebody came up with. How do you know it's universal law? So the best way I can explain it to where it makes sense is as far as like gravity. Everyone knows what gravity is. So the best way I can explain it is like if you get on a roof and you decide to walk off, what's going to happen? You're going to go straight to the bottom. Why? Because gravity doesn't allow you to be suspended in the air. So you're just going to go straight to the ground. So that's not actually part of the 12 laws of universe, but it's just law of gravity. And everyone knows that without gravity, you'll be floating around and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what the laws of the universe are. It's unwritten laws, if that makes sense. And it's basically stuff that we function off of, and it's just natural. It's not something to really put in any thought to because it's just, things that we naturally do on a daily basis. So I'm going to share a screen and it's going to have the 12 laws of the universe. So hopefully everyone can see it. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay. So it said it's paused during the posting, which is not a good thing, presentation, because I don't know if everyone can see it. If anybody is watching, please shoot a comment and let me know if you can see it. Okay, there we go. I know it's kind of small. I'm going to try to expand it or zoom in. Okay, I don't think this is working out too well. Okay, it looked like it's there, but it's really, really small. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing it. I'm just going to go over it because it's just way too small on the screen. Okay, so with that being said, like I said, I'm just going to get into it. So this first law is one that I believe everybody, like I said, probably unconsciously follow it. They just don't realize it. So I'm just going to get into it. So the first law is the law of divine oneness. And so somebody may be asking, what does that mean? So the first law is the most fundamental law of all the laws of the universe. It's the law of divine oneness. It emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things. It says that beyond our senses, every thought, action, and event has something to do with everything else. In other words, every choice, word, desire, or belief you have affects the world and the people in your life. Now, this one I say a lot. So anyone that knows me, I pretty much follow this. I do my best to follow it because I do believe that everything is interconnected. And I'm starting to really believe so more now that I'm getting older and I'm actually paying attention to my surroundings and the universe and nature and stuff like that. So now I'm actually really starting to realize that everything is interconnected. And this is where it becomes tricky because even though we have different races, different ethnicities, and stuff like that, most people don't really see it. Well, I won't say most people, but I guess in a sense, they'll look at it as okay, yes, we're all human, but we're different because of whatever our ethnicity is or whatever our race is. So even though we have those differences, we're still connected. And everything, whether it's animals, buildings, food, it crazy as it may sound, nature, everything is connected. Everything is made up of energy. So energy is everything. It's the mic I'm speaking in, the phone that I'm speaking or looking at, the camera that I'm looking at, the lights, everything is connected. So if anybody can grasp that concept, and even though as crazy again as it may sound, if you treat something, rather this an object that don't speak back or you believe it don't have any feelings or anything like that, it's still connected to us. So the best way I can explain that is that's like if you have a vehicle. Now, I don't know about anyone else. I name the vehicles that I have because I believe that it's alive, just like we're alive. I believe it has emotions and feelings and stuff like that because it's energy. So, I name all my vehicles, and when I get in the car, my car, Black Pearl. So I was like, okay, Black Pearl, take care of me today. When I had my Tahoe, whenever I was driving long trips, I would get in before I get in the car, I would talk to her. And I was like, Angela was her name. I was like, all right, Angela, we about to go on this road trip. Take care of me, baby. And I would do everything I could to, like, when I'm washing it, putting oil in it, I would take care of it as though if it was alive because it is alive. And it took care of me. For 10 years, I say I had it. And I drove that truck from Alaska down to Texas, from Texas to Florida, from Florida to Georgia to Philly numerous times. And I had like minor things that come, not damages, but I had minor issues with it. Nothing major. I had over 300,000 miles on it. You know, the most I had to do was change the radiator, of course, the brakes and stuff like that. But the point I'm making is it was nothing really major. And I really believe the reason why is because I took care of it and I treated it as though if it was actually a person. So all that to say, everything is connected. We're connected to everything, and how we treat people, rather if anyone believes it or not, is a direct reflection of how we feel about ourselves on the inside. And we'll get more into that later as I go down the other laws of the universe. But that's basically what the first universal law is. And this one is important because it's the foundation, it's the beginning of everything. Like if you can grasp the concept that everything is alive, everything is energy, and we're all interconnected, the easier the other laws of the universe will become, and the easier it will to actually acknowledge it and practice it. So the first one is like really important. Like you have to get that concept down. So for most people that don't, believe in metaphysics or quantum physics, it's a challenge for them to grasp that concept because the only thing that they know is people are alive, animals are alive. So outside of animals and people, they don't see anything else as being alive and that you shouldn't treat it a certain type of way. So again, whether it makes sense or not, it really does, affect us. If you treat your house a certain way, if you treat your car, you treat your clothes, your shoes, you dog them out, whatever the case may be, that stuff is still going to affect you at a certain point, at some point. Now, so I used to be a Christian, and I graduated onto a higher spiritual level where I'm at right now. And one of the things that I remember, when I was going through Christianity and some of the churches that I went through, a lot of the stuff that universal law talks about is the same thing that the Bible talks about. It parallels so much. And that's one of the things that I want people to understand and understand is that everything, again, is connected. Man has separated everything. So because man has separated everything, they don't want us to become who we're supposed to be and to ascend to our higher self and to our higher spiritual self. Because if the truth is known, then what does that do? That take money out their pocket, it take their power away, take their control away. So they do everything they can to keep people in the dark to believe that everything is separate because it allows them to stay in power and stay in control because they enjoy this 3D world. They enjoy the natural stuff. They enjoy the money and the luxuries and stuff like that. They don't want anyone to know I can have the same thing that you have as long as I elevate myself to that and continue to grow and ascend into my higher self. So they want to keep people down. They want to keep people in low vibration, like I talked about last week. And they only want a certain select people to make it to where they're at or have the knowledge that they have. So it's really important to really grasp the concept of the first universal law is that everything is interconnected, everything is one, and once you get that down, then in my belief, all the other laws will just follow suit and it'll become so much easier to grasp that concept and to embrace it. So I'm going to touch on a little bit of other things that the first universal law. Okay, so people normally cut reality into compartments, and so are unable to see the interdependence of all phenomena, to see one in all and all in one, to break through the great barrier which narrows one's perception of reality. So we're going to talk about that later in the other laws. So with that being said, so let's go a step further. So everyone believed that we can go around in a bubble in our own life. without affecting other people. Communities and environment around us, in some cases, the effect is obvious and intermediate. You have an argument with your friend and then regret it. So that kind of dives into the next law, and that's my favorite one of them all, is the second one. So how we treat people, again, like I was saying earlier, is based off of how we feel about each other. So it's no way you can speak to a certain person or treat a certain person and not believe that that has a direct effect on you. It may not be obvious at the moment. You may not feel it at the moment, but at some point in your life, that's going to come back to you and you're going to feel it. So it's best to grasp the concepts and truly believe it, because if you don't, you're going to go through life and you're going to have issues and trials and tribulations. I mean, everyone does, but you may experience it more so because you're not realizing that how I treat the other person is a direct reflection of how I feel about myself. And the way I treat that person, you're basically treating yourself the same way. So to get to that point, it takes a lot of growth, it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of self-reflection, introspection, all of it. So it's not an easy road to get to. And by all means, I was not where I'm at right now. I had an idea of it. I just didn't know what it was that I was, feeling and why I felt that way. But now that I do, that's why I'm on here now, is because I believe everybody needs to know this. And just like I said, you don't have to, embrace it. Just look at it, pay attention to it, maybe do some research on it, and just try it out and see. You'll never know how it may help you, but I guarantee you it will help you and it will make a big difference. Okay, so part of the interconnectedness, and this is diving into a little bit of quantum physics, is like every single atom inside of us is connected in some way, shape, or form to the rest of the universe that we move through. Again, that's going back to, like I was saying before, how we treat stuff, whether we believe it's not alive or not, it will have an effect on us. When I'm at the gym, I do my best to take care of the equipment. When I see people like leaving paper on the floor or tissues and stuff like that, I always pick it up. If I see weights not placed on the rack the way it's supposed to, I always pick it up, and try to rack it, because again, I see that as one, it's the right thing to do. And I don't know, it's just the right thing to do. I just see it not as me as a human being, but it's just respect for that weight. Like I look at it as if I was laying on the floor, something was happening or going on with me, I would hopefully somebody would stop by and check on me and, make sure I'm okay. And, if I fell down and pick me up, hey, you okay? Just sit down, have a seat, and just, gather your thoughts or whatever. And whatever the case may be, that may sound crazy, but that's just how I see it. So that same respect that I have for myself, I have respect for everything else, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So moving along, moving along, moving along. Okay. So I'm just going to take some little tidbits out of this book, which is the 12 Laws of the Universe. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. Anyway, so 12 Laws of the Universe. So understanding this law is important. As we do, we will realize that what we think of each other should only be for good. Uh, this is deep too. It's kind of going back to what I was saying before. How we feel about ourselves is how we treat other people. So if you treat other people like crap, you dog them out, I'm pretty sure that individual got something going on with themselves that they don't like. Because the best way that I see it is, if I love myself and I respect myself, again, if I see everybody as me, as one, why would I treat that person any different? Um, so I know it's easy to say that. It's kind of tricky because, again, this is in one of the other laws further down the road. is that perception has a lot to do with how we respond to things. Okay. And again, I always say that we're programmed, conditioned, however you want to term it. A lot of that has to do with how people treat each other. Because if you're shown a certain thing, and if you're living in a certain environment, with those two things going on, is going to have a major impact on how you perceive yourself and how you perceive other people and perceive just life in general. So if you grow up, for example, I want to use me, my mom, bless her heart, she loved she loved black women. At least that's what she put across to me that I saw. And she didn't show much respect for black men. So for whatever reason, whatever she experienced when she was growing up, it left the impact on her, right? So because whatever happened, she took that with her throughout her entire adult life, and she saw her environment that way, and she saw everybody else that way. So, and she treated people accordingly because it was based off of her perception. So, what I'm getting to is it's key to know like who you are, and just knowing again that everybody is one. I think the biggest problem is people see white, black, Asian, Hispanic, um, what is it, Iraqi, whatever the case is. They don't see it as, okay, that's another human being. They live, they breathe, they eat, they drink just like I do. Now, there's other theories out there, as far as how they originated, as far as Caucasians. I'm not going to get into that. But rather, if that's true or not, or if anybody believe that or not, they're still part of the human species. And even if you do believe that they're not part of the human species and they came from out of the lab, or they came from Caucasus mountains and stuff like that, the one thing that we can't deny is there's still a form of energy. And that's how I look at it. Rather if they was built in a lab or they came from the mountains or whatever the case is, I still see them as an energy being. And that's the one thing that we do all have in common. We're all energy. Rather if it was, like I said, constructed in the lab or not, it's still made up of atoms, and atoms is energy. So that is where we're all connected, down to the cellular and the molecular structure, of our bodies and stuff like that. Everything is energy. So that's where we're connected. And if an individual can grasp that and believe that, things would be a total difference as far as how they perceive things. So I just want y'all to just sit back and just think about that for a minute. Don't look at the human aspect of it, but look at it as far as the structure, the molecular structure of us, whether you believe in energy or not, if you believe we're energy, or if you Christian, you believe that we're all spirits. Rather, if we're spirit or energy, however you look at it, everyone has it. I know there was debates at one point in time as far as, do animals have spirits? You know, so even if you believe that or not, just still connected. So no matter what belief you have, if you break it down to that part of it, the foundation, and don't look at the outer, why would you not treat that person with respect? Why would you not see that as you? But again, we have been brainwashed, we have been programmed, we have been conditioned to hate, to look at it as everything is separate. So of course you're never going to be able to really treat anybody the right way. Not everybody, but some people may not be able to treat people the right way because you see them as different than you. You don't see them as what they actually are. And for me, I see them as energy. So the best way I can look at it is if you, I don't know what movie it was, but my thing is the higher you go in your ascension, you will obtain the ability to see people auras. And when I say auras, I'm talking about the aura light that comes off of us, that radiates off of us based off of what frequency and vibration that we're on. So when you ascend to that higher level, you can only see it if you're at that higher level of vibration and frequency. And people literally have auras. I've seen them. So if you could actually see the aura of a person, and that's what you base how you interact with that person, it won't be any racism. It won't be any hate. Well, as I pull back on that, because once we get into the later laws, that's not true. But the point I'm trying to make is I think it would be a little bit easier to interact with people and not have so much hate and anger towards people because you're basing off of their energy. And that's the only thing you're responding to. So you're not saying, say, for example, you have an Asian and their energy is dark. It's giving off red of aura. That's like low vibration. You're more or less reacting to the vibration and energy and aura of that person than the nationality, ethnicity, whatever it is. If that makes sense. So you're not, man, I hate that Asian. All Asians are the same. But if you just say, you know what, I don't like his aura. It's just something about his aura is not right. So I'm not going to even deal with that individual. But it's not based on the outer of them, if that makes sense. Okay, so hopefully that's making sense to y'all. So that's basically what the law of divine oneness is just knowing that everything is connected, being able to treat people the same way, just knowing that even though that person is white or Hispanic, whatever the case is, they are still me. We're still one because we're all energy and we all came from the same thing. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, so the second law. Now, this is one of my favorites because I'm always talking about low vibration people. So the second law is the law of vibration. Everything has a unique vibration and frequency. Okay, so every creature, every intimate object, every thought, every feeling and desire has its own unique vibration. Science have already proven this in the physical world. The frequency of solids is lower than the liquids and gases. Similarly, the colors we see are only different frequencies of light. Red has the lowest frequency and violet has the highest frequency. So that's something that I spoke on last week when I was talking about the different colors and stuff like that, and how my house, the color scheme is red. And since I moved here, just a lot of stuff, happened to me and just craziness. And I always stop. I'm like, man, what the hell is going on? I know I'm not that bad of a person. But again, most people may not believe this, but again, everything is alive. Everything has energy. Everything has frequency and vibration. And colors is a frequency and vibration. And red, is the lowest vibration and lowest frequency on a color spectrum. And that's what my house is. So as much as I speak on high vibration and stuff like that, even though I meditate and I do my sound therapy, I can get to a level of a high vibration, but every time I come back in this house, I'm coming back down to a low vibration and I'm conflicting, I'm butting heads. It's like it's a battle between, me getting into a high frequency and vibration, but then being here with everything around me is vibrating on a low frequency and vibration. So yeah, that's something to really, really take in consideration and just something to think about. Why is it that you believe that they chose the devil to be represented by red? I'm just saying, nothing is coincidence. Fire is what? Red, cause death and destruction. Well, that's what they represented. Well, it's not actually red, but red flames, red and yellow flames and stuff like that. And the devil's supposed to be red. So the root chakra, like I spoke on last week, the color is red. So that's the lowest chakra, is the root chakra, and the color's theme is red. So they use red because it's the lowest vibration, and that's what most people operate on is out of their root chakra. So we have to move up and ascend to our higher chakras so we can start vibrating at a higher frequency. And purple, based off of research and studies and stuff like that and experiments, purple has the highest frequency and vibration. So that's why I'm changing my color schemes and everything to purple, is because that's what I want to embody. I want to embody a high frequency and vibration at all times. So everything I'm going to start doing is going to start moving into, higher frequency and higher vibration. Okay. So the same concept applies to thoughts, as like I spoke on last week. Love, joy, and gratitude are all, or don't trip off of my accent, are all high vibration. Um, Anger, despair, fear, hate, bitterness, loneliness, worry, all those things are low vibrations. All those thoughts are low vibrations. And I was watching a movie the other day. It was a movie. It was called 60 Minutes or 60 Minutes. It was pretty good. It was about an MMA dude, and he was a fighter, and he had a daughter, and I think it was his wife or ex-girl or the baby's mom was going to take custody of him because of his child, because he didn't make it to the party in time, or he wasn't going to make it in time. So long story short, he had to go 60 minutes. He had to go through hell, just fighting people, getting shot at, getting arrested, and he was doing all that just to get to his daughter. So anyway, basically what I'm getting to is I almost lost my thought. So many movies are all negative. Not all of them, but most of them are negative. Even the ones that have no murder or killing and stuff like that, it still has a negative tone to it. Now, again, I'm going to get later into it. There's a reason why for that. But all this stuff keeps us in a low vibration. If you're constantly looking at stuff like that, if you're constantly hearing stuff like that, all this stuff feeding our subconscious mind. And God, lo and behold, if you go to bed watching that stuff, you're taking that stuff to bed with you. So you're waking up in the morning with that nonsense on your subconscious mind. So what I'm getting at is so much stuff out there is all negative, and it just basically instills fear in us. And again, this is by design. So this universe is based off of balance. Everything is about balance. Now, if it was a balance between movies with love, happiness, and peace and joy, and then they had your fair share of, to shoot them up and all that stuff, I get it, because that's what the universe is. It's good and bad, but at least it's balanced. But everything is so unbalanced, it's keeping a lot of us, whether people believe it or not, it's keeping us in a low vibration. And in order to get out of that, we have to be aware of it and cognizant of it. So that's the whole point of me doing this podcast about the 12 laws of vibration. And again, it's going to oppose some challenges, because some people have religious beliefs and stuff like that. So, they're going to more or less stick to what it is that they believe in and say, no, I'm not going to touch that. Because like when I was in Christianity, everything other than the word of God was the devil. It was of the devil. And that's just not true. So if you're constantly looking at everything else as negative, and the only thing that you're following is positive, is keeping you in the box. And so how can you ever grow if you're only following one thing? So again, everything is one. So God created everything. So all this other stuff that's out there can't all be of the devil, and only Christianity or Muslim or whatever, Hinduism, is the only thing that one all be all. That's crazy, the way to think. So I'm getting off track. So as far as getting back to the low vibration of thing, so it's important to always walk with positive thoughts. And was it last week or the week before last, I was in meditation and I was getting downloads, and the downloads were stay at a high state of positive thinking. Always stay positive, and don't allow yourself to fall into the trap of thinking negative or having negative feelings, because all that stuff, again, it keeps you in a low vibration. And rather, if you believe in manifestation or not, it's real. And there's no way you can manifest things. And not only if you're manifesting, it's attracting negative stuff to you. So the more negative you think and the lower the vibration you're in frequency, you're always going to attract those same type of things. So for some people that's out there like, man, why am I keep going through the same thing? Why does it seem like something is always happening to me? It's because that individual is in a low vibration. They're attracting who they are. So in order to get out of that perpetual cycle, you have to put yourself in an environment of high vibration and high frequency. And one of the number one things is entertainment that keeps people in low vibration. Music keeps people in low vibration, because some of it is this music that people listening to, none of it is positive, not at all. But what gets people is the beat. So your body, because what 70% water they say, is relating to that frequency. So that frequency of the music is stirring up the energy inside of you, and it's making you, bob to the music or whatever. And so you're more so liking the music, not the lyrics, and not realizing that the lyrics is subconsciously affecting you. It's keeping you in a low vibration. So music is very, very dangerous. You got to make sure you listen to the right stuff. I don't care how good it sounds or if the lyrics are good and you believe it's good. Beyonce is one of them. I don't listen to any of them. I don't listen to any R&B. I don't listen to any rap. It's either binaural beats. I do listen to Afro beats because a lot of that stuff is music, it's instruments. And I still got to be careful with that because some instruments do put out, low vibration and low frequencies depending on what the instrument is. But for the most part, the songs that I do listen to are Afro beats or positive, uplifting. It's not kill this, end that, F this. It's none of that nonsense. So it's constantly keeping me in a high state of vibration because the stuff that I'm listening to is not bringing me in a low state of vibration, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to give an example of basically what good vibes are. So have you ever had someone say, I have a strange feeling or I have a good feeling about it? This is the law of vibration at work. Since we ourselves are vibrational creatures, we can intuitively feel the vibrations of other people and situations. Traditionally, we have not been taught to use our intuition. If we listen carefully, we already have a lot of knowledge inside. I'm a very intuitive person. And that's why I have the wolf tattoo on my chest, because wolves are known as the most intuitive animals in the animal kingdom. They rely and survive off of that intuition. And that's something that I always focus on. And I've gotten myself out of numerous situations. Sometimes I didn't listen, sometimes I did. But for the most part, I pay attention to my intuition. And, it never fails. I always come back was like, man, I knew it. So if you ever been around somebody, excuse me, and you just have that eerie feeling, or for me, it feels like somebody is just taking a hand on a board, a blackboard, and running their fingernails down it. That's what it feels like sometimes when I'm around certain people. And that lets me know that something ain't right about the individual. And when I'm really in my high vibration and frequency, and this may sound not trying to sound arrogant or anything like that, but that's a lot of people that I'm around, whether it's family or not. I have that feeling, and it's not a good feeling because it makes me feel as though I can't be around anybody, and I don't want to be around anybody. And yeah, it's just not a good feeling. So if anyone out there actually feels that, that's real. That's your vibration. That's your intuition. Just letting you know there's something wrong with that person. Sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be bad. I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm just saying, like, just pay attention to your intuition. That's basically what that is. That's the vibration or frequency that you're receiving from that person if you're feeling that. Okay. Okay. So, like I always say, the trick is to learn the intuition and to be able to master it so that way you can move in and out of situations that you shouldn't be in. So prime example, and for people that know me, the close ones, I've told this story many a times. When I was in Iraq, excuse me, in 2010, it was my last deployment, and so I was on the dirty gate, as they call it, and my job was to observe the national Afghan National Army because they was bringing supplies and stuff into our compound, and it was believed that they was beating up the truck drivers and stuff. So long story short, we was out there for 2 or 3 days. I would be out there observing with my camera and stuff like this. So there's one particular day, you could just feel the negative vibration in the air. Like it just felt eerie. Just something just didn't feel right. So all the kids and stuff, they would use children as distraction. So we're not paying attention to what we're doing because we're more or less paying attention to the children. So the children was out there and they running around and stuff, and they like, Mister, can I have an MRE? And one of my soldiers like, hey, Sergeant T. He's like, hey, man, I think we need to get these kids up out of here. Something don't feel right. I said, you know what, man, you're right. I was feeling the same thing. And so he started to round up the children. And I was like maybe 10, 50 feet away from my vehicle, and I was filming. And I heard a voice that said, move. And I looked around. Nobody was around me. And again, it said, move. I did not hesitate. I closed my camera to the camcorder, went back to my vehicle, went around. And the moment I stepped behind that vehicle, a suicide bomber detonated his vehicle, and it was a fireball that was at least about 200-300 feet in the air. And it killed the civilians and stuff like that. No soldiers was hurt. But the point I'm trying to make is when you really pay attention to your intuition and you're in tune with your spiritual self, you can get out of situations as long as you're in tune. One of my favorite sayings is God always give warning before destruction. So it may sound bad, but I always say people sometimes put themselves in certain situations, and I hate to say it, but everything is always a warning. It's always a warning. You just have to pay attention. That's why it's important to be in tune with your spiritual side and not be so low vibrational that you can't use the skills that God gave us, which is intuition and being able to pick up on stuff like that. And that's rather if it's being in a relationship, dealing with family, dealing with anything, going to work, and something's telling you don't go to work, go a different way, or you might be late or whatever the case is. But the point I'm trying to make is there's always a warning. We just have to be in tune with ourselves. And that's part of what the second law is, which is the law of vibration. So if people take that serious and really get in tune with it, trust me, you will prevent so much. I prevented so much stuff in my life because I pay attention to vibration and frequencies, and that stuff is real. So just a little plug real quick. And I speak about all that in my book, Journey to Ascension. It's about some of the things I was talking about, vibration and binaural beats, stuff like that. So it's still on Amazon if you want to pick it up. Journey to Ascension. All right. So back to this. Man, this is going to have to be like a 2-3 part series because it's already 143. And there's still a lot more to cover. Okay. So just real quick before I leave the vibration thing. 369. Tesla discovered what 369 is. So 369 is energy, frequency, and vibration. And I don't know if anyone pays attention to it, but anytime there's deaths, whether it's people that you know close to you, whether it's celebrities, it's always in a series of 3 because 3 represents energy. So when 3 people die, that's what that is. That's 3 energies that's being sent back into the universe or heaven, whatever it is that you believe in. So that's why it's always in the pairs of 3, because 3 represent the energy. And then 6 is the frequency, and then 9 is the vibration. So that's what 369 is. And then if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's what Nikola Tesla talked about. Okay. So I'm going to try to move through this because I don't want to be here all day. All right. So law number 3 is the law of attraction. And I'm sure everybody know about this one. Excuse me. From the movie The Secret, a lot of people are riding this one. And I kind of spoke on it last week. All this stuff have to be used in conjunction with each other. Like you can't just pay attention to one law and think that you're going to get the things that you want and dismissing the rest of the laws. All these laws are interconnected with each other and they fall in place. Okay. So you can't just follow the law of attraction and think you're going to manifest stuff and you're not paying attention to the law of vibration and the law of oneness, divine oneness, which is God. Anyway, okay, going back to the law of vibration, we know that everything has unique vibration. The law of attraction says that vibration of the same frequency attract each other. Higher frequency thoughts attract more of the same things, just as lower frequency thoughts attract more of the same things. So when you keep the vibration high, you will notice that things seem to go your way naturally, and things that usually disturb you seem not to matter. Okay, so that's why I always say your thoughts become your beliefs, and your beliefs becomes your reality. All that stuff with the law of attraction, the way we think is what we're going to attract. Okay, so if you're one of those type of people that say, you get up in the morning on the rising, man, I do not feel like going to work today. I got to deal with these people. Guess what? You're going to deal with those people because you're on that mindset, you're on that vibration, you're on that frequency. So that's what you're going to attract. And myself, for example, I just started this new job as a customer service for disabled veterans. I schedule clients and stuff or applicants for fingerprinting. And it's a mixed bag. And when I first started, I was like, man, these people are idiots. I'm losing all confidence in people. And even though, like I said, I still had my meditation in the rising, I still had my binaural beats and stuff like that, maintaining high vibration. But then I shot it back down when I had those thoughts of those people. And then I just kept attracting those same type of people. So everything that we think, whether we believe it or not, is going to attract exactly what it is that you're not liking, you're talking about, or you're talking, whatever the case is. That's even in conversation. If we're talking about family, we're talking about friends, still negative thoughts. That's still a vibration. So if we're talking about what Chom did and how they doing this and doing that, that's still negative thoughts. That's still negative vibration. And as long as you keep that in the atmosphere, it's going to keep coming to you because we have to get rid of those negative thoughts. And I'm pretty sure somebody might say, well, I don't want to live in a box and this is real life and we're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do this and do that. I push back on that again because that's what we've been taught. That's what we've been programmed. And no one wants to really walk around and seem like they're a robot. For some reason, that seems like you're robotic if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Where in actuality, people are robots because they're doing what they're being told to do because they was programmed that way. But anyway, I digress from that. So it's important that we change our mindset, and I'm not just speaking like if I'm not doing, like I just said, there's been times that I still do it, but I catch myself and I come back and it's like, you know what, Matt, you can't think like that. You're going to attract those negative energies to you. You're going to really start attracting those low vibrational people and stuff. So it's important that we have the right mindset at all times, regardless if society says that's not human-like, it's impossible to live that way. And if I have time, we're going to touch on that, or I'll touch on that a little bit more. But that's the law of polarity. So yes, you are going to have that as a human because we're living a human experience. But again, that's what this universe is. It's good and bad. So you're going to have that. So you're supposed to have that, but that still doesn't mean you can't walk in a positive mindset for a good part of the time. As long as it's balanced, then you're good. But I don't even want to say that, because then it's like balanced is you can have a bad day and have negative thoughts, and then the next day you can have positive thoughts. I don't know. To me, that seems a little unstable. Um, but I think the balance part is, even if you do have those bad days or bad thoughts, you're still able to um, ascend from that and have the positive thoughts. I think that makes more sense when it comes to balance, opposed to just being like, okay, well, this is a human experience, so I just got to go through. Well, again, I want to pull back on that, because that's actually part of it. But anyway, so we get what we vibe, not what we ask for. So that kind of goes back to what I was talking about last week. The whole vibration thing when you're trying to manifest is you have to be on that frequency and vibration level. We cannot be at a low vibration and expecting to have that dream car we want, to have that man that you want, to have that woman that you want, to have that job that you want, to have that business that you want. You have to be on that vibrational level in order to attract that. Because if you're constantly, again, surrounding yourself around negative stuff, how can you attract positive if you're always surrounding yourself around negative? So it's important that we get on that positive level and positive vibration in order to attract those things. Okay, so here's one bit of advice that this book talk about. You are a magnet, and your experience is the embodiment of your energy. You release consciously and unconsciously. Look around and realize that you are attracting the real environment that you live in at the moment. For some reason, that is a real challenge for people. I've told many of people that everything that happened in your life is your fault. It's no one else's. I don't care if somebody pushed back on that or not. Everything that we do in life is based off of how we think and what we create in our life. I don't care what it is. I know somebody might say, well, somebody get raped or get murdered. How is that their fault? At some point, who's to say that that person wasn't thinking about it at some point in their life? Now, I'm not saying that they're walking around every day and they're constantly thinking about it, but at some point, have they thought about it? Only that individual person knows. So that may seem kind of deep or kind of like wrong to say, well, just because I had one thought doesn't mean that that's my fault that I got raped 2-3 years later. Again, it's begin with your thoughts, who you surround yourself with, and how often did you support that original thought that you had. So if you're listening to music, if you're around certain people, if you're watching certain things, all that stuff is just feeding that thought to where it actually materializes into reality. I know that sounds crazy, but that's a possibility. That's what happens. I had many things that happened in my life that I look back at now, and I don't blame anybody. I did at the time. I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't. From about divorce with my ex-wife, I blamed her. I said everything was her fault, but it wasn't. It was mine. I own it. I accept it. Every bad thing that has happened in my life, I take ownership of it, and I'll say it's not anybody else. It's solely me. Everything that we do, we know exactly what it is we're doing. I don't care if anybody try to push back on it or not. I tell them to the face, you're a bold-faced lie. There's no way you can tell me that everything that we do, we do not know that we're doing it before we're doing it. That's impossible for me to believe that people just, do things and didn't realize it, or I didn't realize I was doing that, or I didn't realize I said that. No, you knew exactly what it was that you was doing. And again, people do not want to take ownership. So what do? I'm not picking on Christians, but again, I was in a church. One of the famous things that they will fall back on is, well, the devil did it. The devil made me do it. It was always the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil. No, that's you. So anything that we deal with, whether it's at work, whether it's with family, at some point, it's something we thought about that allowed that to come in our life. And I know somebody's probably saying, well, no, I don't believe that. That doesn't make sense because this person coming at me, I didn't do anything to him. What did I have to do with that? I didn't say anything to him. They just disrespected me. I almost promise you, if you would go back and just think about what it was you was thinking about that individual at some point, you planted a seed for that person to come back. Again, it goes back to the law of oneness. How you treat people, again, this is going to be another law. How you treat people, it comes back to you. So it may not necessarily be something that's obvious, whereas like if you told somebody to go to hell or something like that, or you punched them, it could have been something simple. It could have just been, man, I cannot stand that person. I really wish they just shut the hell up, or just anything. That's still planting the seed. That's still a thought. So that kind of manifested into however that person may have treated you down the line. Okay, so that one's a real touchy one for a lot of people because, like I said, most people do not want to take ownership or responsibility for stuff in their lives. Is for them being a reason why, and not somebody else. So when stuff happened to me, I don't look at anybody else, and this is one of the things that people have to look at. Things happen in our lives, and the first thing that should come to our mind is, okay, one, what did I say and do? And two, what do I learn from this? Because that's what it is. It's just a lesson. Something has to be taken out of it. So opposed to going back at the person or, getting upset or whatever the case is, try to find out, okay, one, how did this start? What did I do to cause this reaction? And two, how do I learn from this? How do I move forward from this? So that's a different approach. And again, that's another law. Like all this, like I said, all this stuff is connected together. All these laws go together. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to get one more law in. Okay, so the law of correspondence. I love this one too. One of my favorites. As beloved, so below, or my favorite saying is, as within, as without. So your inner world will determine what manifests in your outer world. As above, so below. This is one of the mantras of my life because it's a simple reminder that what happens in my thinking patterns, beliefs, and feelings directly correspond to my perception in the physical external world. This is why it's so important to do the inner work first. The tricky part is that we must first be aware of what is going on there because many of us are troubled by the subconscious restrictive beliefs we had since we was a child. That's it right there. So again, this is going back to the first law. How we feel about ourselves is how we treat other people. Everything that we deal with on the outside is based off of how we feel on the inside, as within, as without. So if you a hater inside, if you a liar, if you're a cheater, if you're a scammer, if you're manipulative, if you're evil, all that stuff, if you got working inside you and you're dealing with that stuff in your life, it's something inside you that you have to get rid of and you have to check. Again, people are not going to want to do a personal inventory or look in the mirror and say, I'm the reason why I'm experiencing these people in my life. Almost everybody I talk to, they always push back with that. They refuse to believe that. But it's exactly what it is. Everybody that comes in our life is a direct reflection of who we are. We only attract things in our life based off of who we are. That's how you create your reality. That's why my favorite saying is, Your thoughts becomes a belief, your belief becomes your reality. So anything you're dealing with in your life, again, it's going to be pushback. Anything that you're dealing with in your life is a microcosm of who you are within. That's why shadow work is one of the best things that you can do because it works on the inner you. Everybody out here making themselves up, they getting buff, they getting booty implants, they getting breast implants, they getting lip implants, make up this, make up that, weave this, weave that, and the inside is just terrible. So we have to change the inside. I don't care how you dress up the outside. It is not going to change who you are and what you're attracting in life until we change who we are within. The dirty work has to be done, and it starts with working inside of us. So if we want to change what we're dealing with on the outside, we have to change who we are on the inside. And again, I've witnessed this many times. You know, there was times where I had good thoughts and stuff like that, and I had good experiences throughout the day. I was like, man, the day was a good day. I met this person. This person did this for me. But again, for the people that know me, for the most part, and I'm guilty of this, I'm really thinking negatively about people. It's like always, man, these people are low vibrational people. So every time I speak on it, that's what I keep attracting in my life. And I'm like, why am I keep coming across these low vibrational people? It's because that's what I keep feeding myself. You know, regardless if it's true or not, I can't keep feeding myself those thoughts because that's what I was attracting. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a challenge. You know, sometimes like, oh, man, I meditated, I did my sound therapy, then I go outside and I still deal with the knuckleheads and stuff. I'm like, how am I doing that? And I got up this rising and I did the stuff I was supposed to do. How am I still attracting that? Because it's so deeply rooted within inside of me that even if I'm not consciously thinking about it, it's still there subconsciously. And that's why I'm still attracting those things in my life or those type of people, is because I haven't totally purged out all that negativity towards low vibrational 3D people. So as much as I speak on, well, I'm 3D, I'm in 3D. And as much as I'm 5D, 4D, this, I'm high vibrational, listen to that, it does nothing if I don't change my thoughts and who I am within. So don't let all these people out here fool you that because they talk a good game and they look a good certain type of way that they're a perfect person or they this and that. And if you don't change within, the same thing you get without. So if you have anything going on in your life and you're like, why am I keep dealing with this same stuff all the time? You have to do the work. You got to work within. Okay, so that's what I was supposed to do. Law of correspondence. Yeah. So as within, as without. Okay. All right. So like I said, the tricky part is we must first be aware of what's going on. And okay, money vibes. Let us take money as an example. We all want money, but one of the topics that are often entangled with deep-rooted restrictive beliefs. We want money, but we never have enough money. When our neighbors announce that they would spend $50,000 on renovations, we feel jealous. Okay, we couldn't afford. We would say it must be good. So again, those words, those negative thoughts, it may be something as simple as you just speak it out loud, like, "Man, I'm not thinking negative. I'm just saying it must be good to have that." Again, you're speaking to yourself and you're telling yourself, I don't have what they have. I wish I had what they have. So you're saying you don't have it. Okay. So that's speaking negative thoughts. That's a negative low vibration, opposed to, man, I'm happy for them. But you know what? I'm grateful for what I have. Even though I don't have what they have, I could be going through something else. I could not be living where I'm living at. I'm thankful for it. And you know what? I'm going to have because I know I have right now. I'm going to continue to grow. That's the thoughts and stuff that should be going through our minds, not negative stuff, even though it may not seem negative, but it is negative. Okay, I'm gonna do one more, and it's gonna have to be a part two, possibly maybe with Mark next week. Okay, so I'm gonna stop at law of action. Law 5 is law of action. Manifestation requires aligned action. I talked about this a little bit last week. Okay, so you must take action to get results. Sitting on your butt and thinking about things in reality is good, but manifestations won't work if you do not allow yourself. The vibration is a big piece of the puzzle. It takes inspired action to get real results. The key word here is inspired action. And inspired action is the action that aligns you with what it is that you are passionate about and what you will do, because that's the job that should be challenging for you. So that's like I was talking about last week. It does no good to have belief if you don't put action behind it. And action is not always something big. It's just something as small as, okay, I want this new house. So what am I going to do? You can't just sit there and meditate and say, okay, I want this new house every day and don't do anything. Your visualization is another good one. I've visualized a lot. It does no good to just meditate and visualize, but then get up and don't do anything behind it. So you have to put action behind it. You know, whether that's getting the job that you want, or starting your own business, cleaning up your credit, you know, actually doing research and looking for the house that you want. You know, just putting in your mind every day, okay, this new house is mine. That house in Conyers is mine, with the acre of land, you know, with the background pool, with the porch that comes out from my bedroom. I mean, it's good to visualize all that, but you have to get on that vibration and you got to put that in action. So, um, visualizing is good, you know, meditating is good, but you have to put action behind it. That's everything that we do. You know, that's one of the buzzwords. Everybody, I meditated this, not meditated, I manifested this or this or that. Don't get me wrong. There's some people out there that's doing great things with that. And there's times that you can't do it. But a lot of times, some people don't realize when you do get those things, more than likely is because you was on that vibration, you was on that high frequency, and that's why you attained the things that you did. It's very rarely ever, unless you just have money and you have it and you can still be vibrating low, but you just have the means to it so you can go get it. So you think, well, I've manifested this, but you know, don't let it fool you. You still have to be on that vibration to get what it is that you want, manifesting that it is. Okay. So again, it's the same thing like with Christians. When I was in the church, people would pray. They would not do anything behind it. And then they see other sisters in the church and stuff getting stuff, and they running around praising God. And man, how that person get blessed? Why didn't I get blessed? I prayed every night. I fasted, but it's more to it than just that. You have to get on the vibration and you have to put action on it. And all these other laws, you know, has something to do with it. You have to treat people with respect. You have to know the law of oneness, like everybody's connected. So when you're going out, you're treating everybody with respect. You don't have negative thoughts running through your mind. You're not listening to negative music. You're not eating low vibrational foods. You know, you have the right color scheme that's around you. All that stuff matters. Okay. Um, so again, you know, I'm not hating on nobody. There's people out there that's getting those things, but yeah. If you want to ascend to the highest level that you want to and be your higher self, the laws of the universe are just one of the things that we have to do. So I'm just going to end that there with law number 5. Hopefully, for those that's watching, you got something out of it. Hopefully, you don't take this as me preaching as just me sharing some knowledge. Hopefully, it's brought a different perspective that you can look at. And hopefully, if y'all don't look at the second part of it, whatever, that the ones that I did speak on, that you too do take, notice of it and just look into it and just practice it, and see what happens. So with that being said, for those that was watching, beautiful people, I thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully Mark will be back with me next week. Until then, like I always say, beautiful people, your thoughts becomes your belief, and your belief is your reality, and you make that reality. All right, y'all be good. I'll see you later. I'm out.